Hey everybody, hey yo, hey Kevin, hey Zig Enjoyer. Happy Wednesday. We're gonna be working on bosses again today. I'm kind of just hoping things are sort of back to normal. Double notification. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I will delete. Oh, actually triple notified. Delete. Delete. Yeah, kind of hoping things are just kind of back to normal. How are the energy levels? I think they're good. But then again, I felt like they were good on Monday as well, and I just I like napped for 2 hours or something when I got done streaming. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. And then I thought maybe I am getting sick, but I don't feel sick at all. So I think things might be back to normal. Either way, the stuff that was giving me some problems the other day, let me show you this. I have gotten through them. I think a lot of it was just figuring out, okay, where should these pixels be coming from and where do I need to set them? And I did that stuff. So for those who haven't seen, oh wait, I gotta go do a couple things for this to work, right? Skip tutorial should be grant most things. And then I made a way, yeah, this. So if we put this inside of start instance, player wants to start fresh battle, just delete all that stuff and put this here. This should be the canyon. Okay. Yeah, so what this is going to do is make it so that when I click start battle, it's just going to go directly to the canyon, which is the place where the boss is. And the whole reason for that is just to show that this is what things look like now. So we now have a boss in the middle of the arena. Darkstorm actually uncovered an issue that I wouldn't have thought about, which is if you've got too many battlers and they're all targeting one enemy, then there's just a spew of numbers and words here. I think we could change it a bit. Maybe for bosses specifically, there's just status text and no damage numbers. I don't know. We can think about that later. Yeah, sorry, Pies. Every once in a while, that thing just kind of messes up, and I've got a note to fix it, but I haven't. But welcome in. Hope everyone's doing well. All right, so boss monsters we need to add special abilities for this. I'm gonna write that down here maybe. It is a very important stream today. We're adding bosses. You're gonna be the first boss actually, Pajmon. Come up with some abilities for the ogre boss. There probably shouldn't be much of a gimmick the first time around, but maybe as the boss levels up, we give them more. We could potentially gate this on level. Although maybe that's not a good idea. I don't know. Okay, life bars. Let's look at that. So if we go back into the battle, actually, if we just look at this image, the life bar is hovering right here. I was kind of debating, like, should there be a life bar taking up the entire top of the screen? But that's something we can always do later. For now, I'm just going to bump this upward. And that way we don't need to do anything super special here. So where is the life bar? Life bar and life bar outline. Here it is. Okay, so we're going to do life bar dot position minus equal game constant dot tile size and life bar outline position. Now there is no position. Oh no, there is a position. We just can't do it that way. Equals this minus this and equals this minus this. And even that's failing. Vector to an int. Oh, whoops. What am I doing? I thought this was a vector. New, actually, let's just do vector to one tile. That's not how this works. There we go, and subtract that. New can be simplified, sure, there. Okay, let's see if that works. Is the health bar for adventurers also too low after adjusting their Y position? Oh, I think you're right. And I think the reason why is because I had to change something. On Monday in the stream, we have a battler scene, and within it is an animated sprite. And on that day, I changed battler and this, I guess this inherited from Node 2D or something like that. I changed Battler to inherit from animated sprite. And then I realized there's a problem with this. And the problem is that the Paladin is supposed to render like this. They have a particle effect on bottom, and then they have the Paladin sprite. And if you make the Battler be a sprite, there's no way to add the particle effect beneath them. Well, there is, but it'd be annoying, I think. So I changed that. And as a result of changing that, I'm now only positioning the sprite and not the entire node. So I gotta fix that. Wait, no, I shouldn't. Hold on. That might all be fine. Also, this was dumb. This is just supposed to be 0. Yeah. One tile Y. Hey, Jeep. How you doing? Think you do vector 2.1 times tile size? Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Unfortunately, I realized I'm not supposed to move the X coordinate here. Hey, Matt. All right, is this looking better now? Yeah. All right. I think the adventurers always look like this, where their life bars are right above their heads, but maybe they didn't, and maybe I'm wrong about what I was just thinking. I know Kevin pointed this out just now. Is there a way to see this easily? We could add in a character sprite, I guess. Just put this here and make this be positioned at 0, 0, 0, 0, and then give it a region of anything really. 16, 20. But we need to pick the tallest character. And yeah, I think there is a problem here. But where is a taller character? Open with GIMP. Oh, this is adventurers.png. And we can pick the 4th tile in. Okay, let's go do that. Adventurers.png. And the 4th tile in is this times 4. Or whoops. Not what I meant to do. Oh no, I think this always was an issue. Oh yeah, vector 2.up. That's a good idea. Although up is -1 already, right? Yes. So now we can add this. Stopped eating out and lost 5 pounds so far. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think any sort of awareness about what you're doing is always sort of the first step to addressing what you're doing. Oh, I missed your other message. And hey, Thomas. I think part of growing up is buying an air fryer. I've been cooking all my meals in it. Yeah. Had one for a couple of years now, and it's the most worthwhile purchase in our house. Yeah, we got one. So my mom loved the one that she got years ago, and we finally got one, I don't know, in the last year. And yeah, we've been using it a lot. It's also just a toaster. So we don't need a toaster now. We're not a dedicated toaster. Yeah, I kind of want to look at a screenshot or something and see if this was always the case, because I think it was. But I don't know if we have any screenshots from, well, any screenshots that would show the life bars like that. The rogues shows, oh, there's an outline now. That's probably why. And we do have a picture with the mage. And yes, it was always at this level. And it's just the outline now that's adding a little bit. So if I take a picture of just this and we zoom in a lot, and then if you picture adding an outline around this, this is what's making the life bar touch the character. Yeah, that's why we're seeing this. Are we blocking any pixel of the mage itself? I guess as long as they don't go above 20 pixels, we shouldn't be. Yeah, I don't think we are. Why can't I? Oh, that's why. Yeah, we're not. This is this is the background, right? That's that bush back there. Hey, Ramy. And hey, Richie. Hey, overstuffing on gadgets. So just baking and cooking every day. One day I'd like some air fried sweet potatoes. Yeah, one of the other things though, there are these sites that convert cook time to air fryer time, and the air fryer time is something like 80% of the cook time. And typically your air fryer is much smaller than your oven, so it's faster, it's using less energy, and in some cases it actually kind of tastes better when it comes out. Hey, Godik. Oh, and hey, people on YouTube. Sorry, I missed your messages. I'm mostly reading Twitch chat. But yeah, hey, Spoons. Hey, Atharva. Huge fan of the Instant Pot. Yeah, we also have an Instant Pot. Apparently, yeah, I was gonna say, apparently a lot of people call it an Instapot, but that's actually not a thing. I remember reading about this online. I think the name is Instant Pot. Not that it matters. I'm just throwing a fun fact out there. Hey, Blue Blue. Smaller doesn't work for any cooking for four. Oh, smaller can still be a pretty decent size, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's like how TomTom was used for GPS navigation. Yeah, there are a lot of terms that got, well, actually, that's sort of different, I guess. I guess that'd be like if you called TomTom Toto, and many people thought it was this. But what you're talking about is where sort of trademarks get co-opted by the general public. So, for example, in the US, a lot of people say Kleenex instead of tissue. And it's like, well, you kind of just lose your standing if the specific term becomes the generic term. Yeah, convection oven. I mean, that's really all they are, is convection ovens. Yeah. Okay, well, this wasn't too bad. We've got the life bar now. I'm going to look at this one more time and take a picture of this. Although I think I already had one. Oh, there is one problem, I guess, which is any large bosses, we got to be careful that we're not rendering the life bar such that we're covering the top space. And right now we only have one boss and there's only one enemy in the battle. How tall is this boss in terms of the frame used here? It's only like 1 pixel off from the top. So why is this rendering? Why is this rendering there? Let me try something. Let's add the ogre into here and then set its transform to 0, 0 and set its region to be 3240. And then figure out how high we should move the life bar. Where is your transform? Here it is. Position is -14. Okay, I'm just going to keep bumping this down. -14 becomes like -24 or 26. Oh, because it's centered. But shouldn't it be 8 pixels if we do that? Like, wouldn't it be right there? I am a little confused. 9, 10, 11, 12, 10. Okay, hold on a sec. Well, I want to move both of these things. And I don't know if you can do that at the same time. Maybe you can. Yeah. Well, the life bar outline didn't get moved in the same way. No, something's wrong. I don't know what it is. Also, I guess we could just move both of these at once by moving the control. Oh, chat. Oh no, I know Godik. Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people have that happen with the Instant Pot. Just thought it was funny. What if you increase the scale in the life bar for bosses to like 2? Yeah, I guess that could also be done. Oh, this is probably not centered. Is that where those extra 2 pixels are coming from? That makes sense. Yeah. So we're subtracting 8 and then half of the life bar height. That's what's going on here. 8 brings us to here, and then half of the life bar height. This is 4, so 2 more pixels. So that means that this would also need to shift by 2 more pixels, right? Yes, that's it. does kind of look like Blanca. Now, if we were to double the scale, I guess the width would also get bigger. And I'm not sure that that would look good because we do something like this. And then we probably also want this to all be positioned like here. Actually, that is kind of good. Maybe we do want to do that. Oh, against the same battle that Lego has. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, and the Y direction? Yeah, I guess we could also have expanded that. I'm eyeballing it. Actually, I don't think this would look good. Maybe. I think just a longer life bar could be fine. Someone's bugging you for 2 weeks about something you know nothing about and have no care over. Oh, man. Okay, so if we're gonna change this, then we've got to change it correctly. There's the vector 2 dot up here. And this needs to be, we're not moving this by one tile size, we're moving it by this. Plus the life bar size dot y divided by 2. Okay, so let's just try this. This is not gonna make the bar longer, but it should position it correctly above the ogre. And then we can make the bar longer as well, although then we're gonna have to center it too. So yeah. Like a frame or just a different color, thicker outline. I think making it longer could probably be good. Yeah, okay, cool. So it's the correct Y coordinate. And again, I know my camera kind of blocks it a little bit, but here you can see it better. So now it's standing at the same position that these are standing at, which maybe we want to bump that by even just 1 pixel higher. I need to revert this entire scene if I'm going to do that though. Battler. We just bump this up 1. I think that could be good. And then we'll call this life bar controls. And then we'll get the life bar controls over here. Private control, life bar control. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. I turned the heat on and it's a little too warm in here. Wow. And the time it took Rami to type, I bet it's going to take longer than 1 second. I already came back. I bet Rami feels like a real heel now. All right, here's ready. And life bar controls. Let's also, while I'm at this, let's have these accessed by unique names. It just cuts out some of the hassle here. All right, good. See the sweat beating up. Hi, cat. All right, so now we can just change the life bar controls. And the final thing is if we want to increase the size of this. And I guess in this case, we would double the size of it. Can we just center this? That would be really great. You probably can. Yeah, if I just center this and center, well, now we need to move it. Drat, there's no way to do this. There. Is the transform integral? Yes. And then same thing here, center this, and that way we don't need to add the offset through code. We can just trust that it's going to get positioned in the right spot. That should be good too. Perfect. And now when we increase the size, we don't need to modify the x coordinate. All right, so what do we do here? We want to change the outline in the life bar's width. We could also scale this by just 2x. No, we can't. Yeah, no, we can't. We should just increase the size of this. This turns into 44. Why is it expanding this way? That shouldn't be happening, right? Do we need to anchor this at the center? Ah, drat, maybe we do. And now what? Will increasing the size of this actually fix this? No. uh, change the rotation or scale. It will rotate or scale around this pivot. Okay, well, we could change this, I guess, which is what I meant to do when I was changing the other thing. And now when you increase the size of this, that still doesn't work. Okay, well, fine. Then we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to change the size and the position, I guess. Why does light bar controls have that size? No reason, probably. Yeah, should probably just have a size of nothing. But that shouldn't make any, this shouldn't have any impact. Should move the container to the place you want the life bar to be, and then you should be able to scale. I think I'll just change the size through code for now, so I'm not struggling with this for too long. Let me set this back to what it was. Which is there, I think. Actually, wait a second. Let's try some other things briefly here. Yeah. Let's set the position of this to 0 and the position of this to 0. Oh, this can't have a position of that. It needs something like that. There, then move this entire thing back up to here, set its size to nothing. At this point, if we increase the size of this, is there a way to have this expand from the center? I guess you just need to change the pivot offset, right? Yeah. This doesn't sound right. Something is wrong here. Like, shouldn't I be able to center this? I'm going to spend a whole lot of time doing this for no reason. Yeah, I think it's just easier to modify this through code. Even if I change the anchor to center, though, it's the pivot that's going to change where this grows from, right? No, it's not even that. Yeah, I'm just going to reposition this in code. Okay. Change size and pivot in the parent, set child anchor to center. Okay, that might work. I didn't think about that. We do this and then set the pivot here. And then anchor this to the center of the parent and this to the center of the parent. And then we can shift the whole thing left. And now when we increase this size, no, it doesn't seem to work. Yeah, I'm going to do this through code. I know I've come to that conclusion now a bunch of times, but I think that's what we're finally doing. Okay. Yeah, maybe there's some way to get this to work, but I don't know what it is. This was at -14 before. And now this is at... Now this is at -11, I think. So I think this needs to be moved up. Yeah. Hey, once upon a rhyme, welcome to the stream. And then we also need to look at what I just changed in the scene because definitely I am positioning this in the wrong spot now. So originally, the left was at -11. So I think I bumped that by 1 pixel too far. Yeah. And the top was at -15 of the outline. So that means this needs to be bumped down 1 again. All right, now I think everything should be good. Now we can modify it through code. So we need to modify the outline to increase its size double the size, and then move it to the left a bit. Life bar outline dot size equals, or I guess plus equal. We just want it to be one more like that. And I guess same thing with the life bar. And then change the positions as well. Actually, we could just change the positions of the whole control. Minus equal new vector 2. Yeah. All right, let's try that and see if that's working. Hey, someone. And then we can move on to some other stuff here. Okay, everything looks dead, which means I must have messed something up. Possibly I forgot to save the scene when I had these different names. Unable to cast control the progress bar. It should be, or maybe I used the wrong name. No, life bar controls. Life bar outline and life bar. Outline and life bar. Oh, this. Oh, whoops, my bad. I didn't change that. They have a name. Somebody that I used to know. Man, I got through my to-do list yesterday, like a lot of it at least. Yeah, perfect. Now they're wearing a life bar hat. I'm modifying the Y coordinate and not the X coordinate. So it looks extra doofy. All right, one tile Laya here. I just wasn't thinking as I did that. Did I hear hat? No. I said that. I said a life bar that is above the enemy's head. Totally different word. All right, there we go. So that is maybe working as intended, and then we want to bump this up one extra pixel because I said it was too close to begin with. And then I guess run this again. Thanks, someone. Yeah, I hope the gameplay is also fun. But I would not suggest playing it until I've released the next checkpoint. You draw all the sprites yourself. I drew none of the sprites myself. I've got that credits command there to tell you who did actually draw them. Oh, Abby looks like she wants it. Yep, here she is. Hi, girl. Hi. You want to get in the way? Yes, you do. Good cat. All right, you're going to come sit down. Come sit down. Good girl. Come on. Good. Now just sit there and be a good cat, so. What a good cat. Her tail is on the desk, though. There we go. Yeah, neat. I wonder if we should bump that up by one extra pixel. Why is that brushing up against this? Shouldn't it not do that? One tile wide. I feel like this should be plus one more pixel. Not sure how I feel about this. Well, I mean, I guess we could just add one and find out. Vector 2 dot up plus 1. We had one more pixel of padding here. All right, I really want to move on from this because this is taking a lot of time. Oh, the cat's so nice and warm. Let me type in this very important command. All right, that looks perfect. Yeah. All right, nice. Please adjust your keyboard cam to become a cat cam. She just rearranged herself on my lap. I don't think you'd be able to see her anyway, even if I zoomed out completely. I'd have to angle the camera down, and I don't think that's very easy to do and then set back to what I had. Okay, cool. So we move the life bar, and that's it. Yeah. Let's go check those things in. All right, set proper life bar transform for bosses. I tested it for adventurers, by the way. I did not test it for like regular enemies, but I think it's gonna be fine. Yeah, it's fine. I just want to make sure there's no overlap or anything. Okay, cool. So that's done. Next up, come up with some abilities for the ogre boss. Probably shouldn't be much of a gimmick the first time around. So remember, the way this is going to work is you fight the ogre when you have, or at least for the first time, first battle, is when you have 2 adventurers and they're level 2 and no enchanter. Oh, and it's not even just 2 adventurers. It's literally always going to be the mage and the rogue. Yeah. Oh. Can you see her right now? I can't tell. No, you can't. She's like on my hand and is licking me. I don't even know how I could move this so that you could see her. Look at how adorable she is. Oh, do you see that? She's literally on my hand. Like she's surrounding the keyboard. What a cat. I can't even, I literally cannot use the mouse anymore unless I like physically move her. Thankfully, I've got one on my keyboard. Oh, you're so adorable. All right, well, I think it's only a matter of time before she starts attacking my hand. Okay, so anyway, since you're not going to have any abilities or any like crazy amount of influence over the battle, what should we do with the ogre? It could just be that they hit really hard. They could have AoE. They could stun. Now I discover why Vim users are Vim users. They all have cats. Okay, hang on. I gotta take a picture of this for my wife. She doesn't even look comfortable. All right, sorry. I know this is a deviation from coding. Well, let me see if I can share this with you. Hang on, I gotta upload this. Okay, there we go. Give me a sec. There. She's sitting in the most uncomfortable position for herself. Oh man. All right. Yeah, so what should we do for this boss? I think the hitting really hard part is like you don't have any real damage mitigation now, and only the rogue can dodge. Actually, maybe what if we did base this on your skills a little bit? What do we have in terms of your skills? It's only whatever the first 2 skills can be in each class, and they might change in the future too, so maybe this is not a good idea. But I think there's a damage mitigation one for the rogue. I don't want it to come down to that though. All right, so the rogue has quicker strike and then yeah, 2 more seconds of stealth. The mage has yeah, just damage stuff. So I guess the only thing we could potentially steer you toward is this. It's just not a good idea. In fact, I don't even think it's probably a good idea to come up with anything about the ogre boss for now beyond like a really, really simple gimmick. Is the AoE worthwhile? They could also... No, I don't know. All right, I'm just going to give them more stats for now. Yeah. Oh my god, I can't even move my hand to be able to scroll. There we go. All right, update. I'm just going to give them more stats for now. I don't know what the final balance is going to be, but there's no point working on a whole set of abilities when you can only have the mage and rogue at this point of the game and only at level 2. All right, then let's go modify their stats and make sure you can beat them. So we'll go to game constants, or not game constants, all enemy data. And the ogre is here. So the other stuff that you fight at this level is skeletons. They've got 90 life. But this is the first battle you do with 2 characters. So maybe 500 life is fine, and maybe giving them 20 attack is okay. I don't know. We're going to go test it out. Oh my god. There is no way this is comfortable for her. Also, her claws are like fully extended so she can hang onto the desk. Unfortunately, grant most things already puts me at level 7 out of 2. There's nothing making sure you can't do that. All right, so we can't do grant most things. We need to do unlock all adventurers. And then rank them up to level 2. Level up adventurers. This does levels needed, which is the max level minus the current level. How about I just give them 1 level? Levels needed equals 1. And then we do call... We do call grant most things again. Okay, Kat, this cannot be comfortable for you. How are you sitting like this? All right, well, I guess I can use the mouse again. So we're going to put a point in this, let's say, and a point in this, and then go to the canyon. And the question is, will they win? It looks like they're going to. I think I need to make the boss do more damage. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because you're not even coming close to dying here. Oh, you know what we should do? We should... So right now they're using basic attack, and basic attack is set so that it's got a random cooldown. We should give them a deterministic cooldown, which means making a new ability that's basically the same as basic attack. In fact, all of this is totally fine. This is get power, yeah. I want it to be basic attack, but with a specific cooldown. With max adventures, I had the boss set to 50,000 HP. Wow. Yeah. Gonna be some cool fights when we're finally done with that. All right, so let's save this as basic attack with specific cooldown. With specific cooldown. And we take in the cooldown. And we pass this in here. I don't think we can do this. Yeah, I don't think we can do this. Because we don't construct things. We need a default constructor. At least I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, what's going to happen here? To ability ID, all ability data. I think we have, oh, they're all abilities now. I think we have a, what's it called? Some instantiator thing down here. What is it? Create instance. Yeah, activator, create instance. This won't work unless we have an empty constructor. Yeah, so we can't do that. Well, we could just give it a specific cooldown then. We could just say the cooldown is 2. They don't have a concept of uncomfortable position. Yeah, cats are liquid. She's laying down on my lap now with her head directly on my leg. All right, so calling this basic attack I think is still fine. All of this stuff is kind of fine. no, what am I doing? I wanted this to inherit from basic attack and just specify what the cooldown is. Well, I guess we could do that. Basic attack. Wait, that wouldn't work, right? Because then we couldn't specify that we have a different ID. No, we would need to change basic attack so that it actually supports this. You need to be able to pass in different data. So that would come in through here. Huh. Do I change the instance afterward? No, I don't think so. Other than abilities can level up. So the player can change it by modifying the level. All right, you know what? I'm just going to make a brand new thing then. Yeah, sure. Let's just copy this whole thing and just call this basic attack with specific cooldown. We won't worry about inheritance or anything here. It's not such a big deal. Put this at the bottom. Alternatively, we could have just set a basic attack with specific cooldown. We could have just made it not have any randomness, but then every single enemy in the game would be modified. All right, cooldown is going to be 2. And it's going to do exactly the same stuff. Now this we could refactor into some static thing. Because this doesn't use the ability itself, does it? No, it doesn't. Shouldn't use a static instance, sort of like an ability base. So a lot of what was done here is so that we can specify everything in one file, pretty much. So for example, we have this, an ability ID here. We have, what is this called in C#? Not an annotation. Attribute. We have an attribute here that says which things are abilities. And then at runtime, we can fetch all the abilities and keep a dictionary of them. In order to have that dictionary of them, we need to be able to construct them in some canonical way. And our canonical way is just no arguments in the constructor. What if you had a custom cooldown prop on a init with logic? Yeah, that would work too. Yeah. I'm going to do the very basic thing for now and just do a public static void use basic attack node. Actually, all of this stuff is the same. And then here we can just say use basic attack entity battle. There. Then the other thing can do the exact same thing. Basic attack dot use basic attack. And now we don't need as much duplicated code. Hey guys, stay Batman. Next up, all enemy data. We need to give you a new basic attack with specific cooldown. So now they're going to attack potentially faster, but I don't know what they just were attacking at now. They could have actually been faster than what they are. And maybe we should add in some variance here, but at the very least, let's bump them up to 30 attack power. Again, almost all of these stats are probably going to change, so it doesn't matter too much. But let's at least get it to the point where it's not like you just clearly win the battle every single time. Oh, sorry. I missed your question about databases. Let me scroll up. Wait, I still don't see your question. Hang on a sec. How do people handle databases in games? So I think it depends on what you're storing. If it's anything like user data, you're probably just using a proper database. If what you're talking about is things like, I don't know, enemy data, like, you know, Bat has 4 attack and 2 defense. For this, you just use some like data file, even if you want. And maybe it makes sense to have a proper database, but just probably not if all you're storing is just a bunch of constants. Like this could just be a JSON blob, for example. And what we happen to do is we happen to put it in C#. So our database is essentially here. And it's just this is a single player game, so it doesn't really make sense to have some like, you know, quote unquote proper database. And some people put it into SQLite, so it's not like it's another process running, which is an in-memory database. I want to win the battle every single time. You probably will still win the battle every single time because there's just not a lot of variance here. I'm going to speed this up. They're level 2. Well, now they're dying. Yeah, they died. Okay, but we didn't put a skill point in. So now let's try putting a skill point there and a skill point there. Let's see if they win. They got them down to like 25% life last time. I guess there is some luck involved here. And they died again. So maybe we tone down the power just a tiny bit. The other thing we could do is we could change this skill point to be in here. And maybe then they would win. But I don't want this to be like right down to the wire. And you've got to pick the exact set of skill points. You've got to have the rogue get lucky with a dodge chance. Oh, they barely didn't win. I bet there's like a 50% chance of them winning now. If they got them down to that low life. It's pretty much just a matter of like one extra dodge. Yeah, they won that time. Yeah. Okay, so now let's tone down the ogre's power by the tiniest amount. Like, we'll lower it from 30 down to 28. Guile, I think you're thinking of Blanca. Because Guile from Street Fighter, I guess, is wearing maybe similar clothes, but no, they're not wearing similar clothes. Yeah, Blanca. Yeah. Dictionary of item bases which you can query. Challenges to find a good structure so you won't need more than one table. Yeah, what I ended up doing is just having item IDs in enumeration. Okay, the cat's finally leaving, I think. Bye, cat. Oh, I can sit up. It was affecting productivity and posture. Yeah, I have item IDs here, and I think it's important to have a set of IDs, although this doesn't have to be how you specify them. And then the actual item data is stored in just a giant dictionary somewhere. Hey, Broken Crown. All right, so we're going to check this in. All we did here is give the ogre boss an attack. That's it. Yeah, we're going to check in these things. Give the ogre a specific attack. It used to be basic attack, but there's variance in the cooldown. So it would have led to having to repeat the battle a bunch to win. Yeah. All right, what's next? Let's move these things to the bottom. Change how you unlock adventurers. We should curate the choices. Rebalance a cost to unlock and train them such you can always afford the entire set of choices to be max rank. All right, we have a game design question before then. Should there be a money limit at any point in the game? And maybe if no, should there be an effective limit? I.e., money accumulation rate after beating the boss is like 3x of what it was before. So it just doesn't make sense to grind. All right, let's think. What does money do? It's for hiring an adventurer, training an adventurer, building stuff. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, unlocking instances. I think that's it. So now let's think about this. You can't get more adventurers without beating the boss. Can't level up anymore without beating the boss. You can only get certain buildings before beating the boss. And yeah, same as above. Yeah, so all of these things are already gated on beating the boss. So I guess money doesn't have to be. But the only reason why the only reason then why to limit money is for idle players. You don't want them coming back to like, 1 million gold And why is this typing so weirdly? And then trivializing the next phase of the game. So everything's already kind of gated behind bosses. Inspired my oldest son and I to make a browser-based game. Most of my work is data-driven business web apps. Watching this for this long, I feel like I finally have enough knowledge. Nice, nice, nice. That's awesome, Broken Crown. What's the kind of game you're going to be making? And agreed on this part you're saying? Just not wanting them to come back and having a ton of money? Because, like I said, the other way of doing this is, let's say before the boss, you get, 1 to 5 gold per battle. And after the boss, I mean, you could do this the way true idle games do this, which is 1,000 to 5,000 gold. I don't want to do that. But then it's like, yeah, well, it doesn't really matter how long you grind for at 1 to 5 gold. Because unless you're going to play for 1,000 times the length, actually, even 1,000 times the length wouldn't be enough. It'd have to be like, 50,000 times the length. Simple platformer. My oldest is 10, so he wants to make a game around a character him and his friends made up. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Yeah, I think back to some of the sort of defining platformers for me. And I mean, practically any Mario game. The Banjo games were really good. And what other platformers that I really like? There are always going to be some that I'm just not even thinking of. Actually, it's hard to think of this. SNES platformers. 15 best SNES platform. Oh, Kirby. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Kirby games. Donkey Kong. I like Donkey Kong Country, but I didn't play 2 and 3 that much. I think I just rented them. Any others? I guess I played some Castlevania too. Oh, Mega Man. Yeah, okay. Mega Man and Castlevania. Anyway, in all of these, I think that. Oh, yeah, how could I forget Metroid? In all of these, I feel like the characters themselves are really, really standout characters. They've got good designs, they've got quirky abilities in some of these cases, or in some of the games where they're supposed to be cool, they're cool. I don't really know if you can say Mario is cool, but Samus is cool. Mega Man is cool. APX. Yeah, and I always think it'd be fun to design a character. There was a spiritual successor to the Banjo games called Ukulele, and I really liked the characters, but I strongly disliked the game. I thought it was just such a bad game that just seemed like its sole purpose was to try to re-grab Banjo-Kazooie players. And I felt like it did so without any charm. Hey, Porsche. And Stockton, welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, so should there be a limit to money? And I guess if we're not going to do this, I'm not going this route. So limiting money may be a good idea. Plus, the other thing, a lot of games with grinding, you have the concept of like, okay, the boss is level 10, you're level 8. It's still too hard, so go to level 12 and then fight them again. And a lot of games, that's why you grind, is not so that when you finally beat the boss, the next content's going to be easier, so that you make the boss easier. That's not really a thing in this game, and I don't know if that's going to be a problem, but yeah, I think we probably do need to limit your money. I loved Cuphead. I'm trying to make sure he has realistic expectations with the first game. Don't make your dream game first. Hard lesson for a 10-year-old. Yeah, yeah. But I still think the character could be kind of cool, whatever you end up making. But I hope it's a lot of fun, and I hope you feel like this has unlocked something for you. I think gating adventures and ranking behind the boss makes sense as is. For buildings and instances, it can be done through the money limit so players can see what the next upgrade will be. Yeah, bosses are kind of a checkpoint for everything already, so I guess we might as well make it for the money cap. And yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Rami does not agree from a capitalistic perspective. But yeah, leaning toward limiting money. And we don't even need to make it too unreasonable. Like let's say before the first boss, you can buy everything in, I don't know, let's say 5,000 gold. Then maybe we make the money limit like 4,000 or something like that. I mean, this would be split up such that maybe it's like 1,500 plus 1,500 plus 2,000 or whatever. So if the money limit is 4,000, you can buy any individual thing. But then we need to make it clear that there's a money limit. Anyway, I think we need to do this, but I think, should we do it now? Yeah, we should probably just do it now. Make a money limit in the game. Save / load this from the save file. Actually, we don't even need to save and load it, do we? I guess we could. Then show in the UI via a tooltip what the limit is. And when at the limit, when at or near the limit, color the money label red. And maybe make grant most things go beyond the limit. When beating a boss, increase the money limit. All right, well, it's not that hard to do. So yeah, let's go think about this. Game constants. What are the higher costs? Higher costs are 20 and 10. How much money do you get? Wait, something's wrong here, right? Didn't I change this last time? Venture level up cost 5? Maybe I did not. What order do I want you to do things in? Expected order of purchases for a new game. Remember, the only things you can do, I guess we should list out the options. Options of purchases without beating the boss. Hire the second adventurer. Oh, I wrote this down somewhere, didn't I? I might have deleted it. Level up each adventurer to 2. Unlock the second instance and the boss instance. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So expected order should maybe be unlock the second instance, then unlock the second adventurer, then the level ups. Yeah, I want to write this down. Put a treasury. It can be a chest in the map with a gold pile. The pile grows as you earn money. When the money cap increases, the treasury levels up. Yeah, I think that could be nice. A visual way of showing this. Potentially, that's what you're doing when you beat a boss. Is you're able to upgrade your treasury and it just doesn't cost money. Could make it so that when you beat a boss, you're able to upgrade this treasury and it just doesn't cost anything. That way you're aware that there's a money cap and that it increased. Yeah, where's that balance issue? Here it is. Balance out these things, yeah. Expected unlock order. So when first starting a game and getting through the tutorial, the only things you can spend money on are these things. Hiring the second adventurer, leveling up each adventurer, and unlocking the second instance and the boss instance. The order that I think makes sense for these things is this. Unlock the second instance or unlock the second adventure and then level ups. What happens in reference to customers when you're at the money cap? Do they still buy stuff but you get no money, or do they stop buying stuff? I think they'd buy stuff and you just wouldn't get money. Maybe we should show a bunch of notifications when that happens, but throttle it. When modify money is called and you don't get all of it because you're close / at the max, we should show a notification and have it be throttled. it can say to beat the next boss to increase the cap. Well, the next elite. Yeah. All right, so if this is going to be the order that we want, which is that you get the second adventure in the second instance, then we need the level up to cost more than the next adventure. So let's set this to, yeah, I think 20 is probably reasonable. And let's set this to 30. And then the cost of the next instance we have set to 10. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay. That's pretty good. Now, what was the task we were even supposed to be doing here? Is make a money limit? Yeah. So we'll say public const. What are we storing money as? Long. Starting money maximum. Starting max money. I guess let's name it the same thing as the other thing. If things cost a max of, it's like 30, 20. I guess you should be able to afford everything. Maybe you should be able to keep all the money for that too. How much does the other instance cost? 15. This should probably cost more than the level ups. Oh, I never even wrote about unlocking the instances, did I? Yeah, I didn't unlock the boss instance. Making each adventure you unlock have slightly larger costs than the previous one to help with the money drain. Yeah, that's already going to be a thing. I don't know what these numbers should be, but they're increasing by quite a lot. All right, so the second instance should cost more than a level up. Oh, wait. Never mind. The thing you're talking about is, sorry, yeah, the cost of ranking up. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. And I haven't done that yet. So level up cost is 30, so this should probably be like 40 to indicate that it's something that takes a little bit longer, or maybe 35. So the total cost is 10 plus 35 plus 30 plus 30 plus 20. It's 125. So I think we can make the first maximum money amount be 150. Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable. And then in the town, we can store your maximum money. Public long max money. Actually, why is this public? Just make this private. Game constant's not starting money. It's actually starting max money. No, you know what? Let's make this public. I don't see why we wouldn't do that and just have it have a private setter. All right. So now when we call modify money, set money to money plus amount. This is here, money equals math.min max money amount. And I guess like had or maybe like granted all money equals max money minus money. Guess we can make this absolute just to make sure there's no problem here. No, we don't want to do that. So this needs to be less than the amount. So this is how much money you can get. And it needs to be greater than the amount or equal to. Yeah. And if you didn't grant all the money, if not granted all money, maximum money reached, defeat the next elite. How are we framing this to players? You must defeat the elite enemy at the latest location. Defeat the next elite enemy to increase the maximum. Looks good. So this should be done. We can go test that right now. I think we can get done with most of this stuff today. Oh, hey, check it out. It already printed out. The reason it printed out is because Grant Most Things tries giving us money. So if I click this button, it should just keep printing out. We didn't throttle it yet, so I can't technically check this. Yeah, technically any money sale should be enough to trigger that, right? So if I just click grant items and then put a potion over here, it should print out as soon as a customer walks over to this. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Good. Now let's throttle that. Now we have a throttler in the game, but I remember this being not super easy to use. How does this work? Update borders throttler. We make a new throttler, then we have to call update borders deferred. Oh, only maybe in this case. You slow down walking in town? I only had temporarily. They're moving back at their regular speeds, I think. When I slowed it down, I had modified customer to do this nav speed. In fact, that was my like control Z was this. So I'll show this briefly, but this is the speed I think they should walk at. And I'm not going to do this until we get to the next task completely. But you'll notice a big difference here. There. That's the speed I want them to walk at. And maybe there's upgrades you can get for it, but I think that's pretty good. Okay, so let's go use the throttler that we have here. And we'll make a private throttler show max money warning throttler. All right, I want this showing all the time. Maybe every 10 seconds. Yeah. And the function here would be show max money warning, which we don't even have, but we can generate it. It's static. It can't be static. Yeah. I'm gonna just put this here for now. And then we need to use this through the throttler. Execute. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that should work. So it's a problem here. A field initializer cannot reference the non-static field method or property. Okay. That's fine. We just want to initialize this here. I think we should be able to initialize it here, though. Yes. And then just, yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's try that out. Unlock one of those flat escalators. I think, I mentioned earlier this year we went to the Camino de Santiago and we walked like 200 miles in a couple weeks. And one of the things I kept joking with my wife is I'm like, can you imagine if there was one of those conveyor belts just along the entirety of the trip? And if you ever felt bored or tired, you just lay down on it and it moves you to your next location. What a cost that would be. All right, so if we click grant money, it should print out the notification, but now we can click it a bunch of times and it won't print out again until 10 seconds later. So when that goes away, I think it's been 5 seconds. Now we wait another 5. And it should print out now. Yeah, perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, actually, this is pretty nice. I guess using this throttler was exactly what I wanted, so it worked well here. Some animals would appreciate it. Yeah, also it'd be disgusting. What is this? Unhandled exception occurred. The label's not set. How is this the case? The throttler called show max money warning, which created this thing, and then something deleted it? Oh, that's why. You need to use call deferred for this. Oh, man. Oh, that sucks. Because that's the whole reason I had this here. Update deferred. And we just had a call deferred around this. I don't like it, but I guess we probably have to do that. Yeah. Deferred, and that just calls this. That's why I didn't like this. Cow showing up. Actually, talking about animals that would be able to use that. Sonic the Hedgehog. There's got to be a conveyor belt in one of those games, right? All right, well, unfortunately, I set this to 10 seconds, so we just got to wait until we can click this again. There, but this time it shouldn't print out any errors because I should be doing this correctly. Yeah, nice. All right, there's that. So this is done. Next is save and load this from the save file. So town save data. We're going to save public long max money. Maybe we should call it money limit or something. Max money. No, just max money's fine. What's the issue with the throttler and having to defer it? So in this case, well, actually, probably in pretty much every case we want a throttler, it's that we're dealing with something that has to do with Godot, but the throttler takes place on a different thread, and the only way to interact with Godot is from their main thread. So that's why they have call deferred to everything. And in this case, we want to spawn a notification. The notification is a label inside the Godot scene. If all we were doing is something like a gd.print, then it would presumably be fine to not do it from a deferred call. And the problem I have is that it just adds boilerplate. It's like now we have an extra function here. Whole days spent reconfiguring solution because end user decided to change folder name because they didn't like how it looked. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing at that. It's pretty funny. Yeah, those things can be frustrating. Yeah. I guess I don't have too much more to say. It's probably better when that sort of thing happens than just, oh, the customer changed their mind about something and you did a bunch of work and it just got deleted. Laughter of pain. Yeah, well, laughter about someone else's pain. If it were my pain, maybe I would be crying. Yeah, we know a thing or two about folder names over here. We know about renaming abilities. All right, so we have put it in the save file, but we haven't actually, or well, we put it in the save data, but we haven't actually saved it. But this should be dead simple. We should just be able to do this, and then when you load it, we do this. Done. Okay, what this means is that if we relaunch the game and then we do anything in the game and hit save, that it's going to put that into our save file, and we can go change it and load, and we should have a different maximum after that. All right, so save the game. Go find out where the save file is. CD save max money. Okay, we're gonna set this to 151 because I want to test something here. Now we're gonna load the game. And now when we grant money, that's not good. I think we're calling grant money before we load the save file. So if I hit grant money, it should spawn that. And then, yeah, it said it's a 151. Perfect. Okay. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. And now if I set this instead to like 9999999 and then reload the game, we should be at Yeah, we should be able to go higher than that. Yeah, 10,000, whatever. Grant this a bunch of times. And we should be able to get up to that number. Perfect. Nice. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, that's not good. The execute call waits. I don't want that to happen. Execute. Call execute next tick. Why did I do this? This is what they call, I think, the trailing edge in Lodash. And I don't want that. I want this to be a Boolean. Here it matters. But here I don't want it to matter. So bool, actually, let me look that up. Lodash. Where's their throttler? Apparently this is not the documentation site. Throttle. Trailing. Invoking on the trailing edge of the timeout. Yeah, I'm gonna just name it the same thing. Invoke on trailing edge of timeout equals, actually, let's not even set anything here. And then this is what we want to do. If invoke, I guess we can lump it into here. Cool, and then save that. Bells, you actually changed your account name. Oh, it's not even a new account because look at all the badges. That's some dedication to the joke. That is some dedication. How you doing, Thels? Commitment to the bit will never diminish. Yeah, I appreciate that. Everyone could use some commitment to the bit. You're finally done with the customer rename stuff? So this should call it on the trailing edge, and the town one shouldn't. There. Now let's test this out. Ooh. I'm glad we discovered that too, because it would have probably been confusing for players because they wouldn't have paid attention to what's going on there. And then they beat the boss, and then it says you're at the money limit, but they're actually not. So all we need to do is click this button and then just wait. We got to count to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and nothing should show up. And it didn't. But if we were to click the button again, it would show up. Perfect. So save and load this from the file. That's done. Show in the UI via a tooltip what the limit is. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is you hover over money and it just tells you here's what your maximum is. So let's go add that in. I don't even know where that shows. Town, maybe? No, town. Oh, this one maybe? Is there money in here? Town menu. Probably there. Money label. Yep. Okay, so this thing should know when your maximum changes. And we did this somewhere else. Don't want to add it to the label. No, I don't think I want to add to the label. I don't want there to be that much information that's always present. And if there's a notification when you hit it, and maybe most players won't even hit it or something, then, well, not even most players wouldn't hit it. They would probably hit it. But yeah. Yeah, I think that should be good. So we do this somewhere else. We have a tooltip on parent that has a special name. You know what we could do? We could search for this and then .*/%. And make that a regex. I found it. It's the Fortitude tooltip. And why do we do this? So we can upgrade or update the percentage, I guess. Yeah. All right, pretty easy. So let's go do that same pattern here. We're gonna instantiate. Oh, we don't have a tooltip here. We do in the town. But I guess we could just make a custom tooltip for this. Oh, then we need this inside of a control, don't we? Ugh. All right. Well, I know what we're going to do. Tooltip on parent. And what are we going to call this? What do we call the other one? Fortitude tooltip? Okay, let's call this money tooltip. And then we need to set a couple things. So first, you go to town menu. And here we do, I guess let's go get the money tooltip. Tooltip on parent, money tooltip. Money tooltip, it's a tooltip on parent. Okay, cool. So now that we have that, we're going to set its tooltip. Money tooltip dot set tooltip. How do we do this? Here's how we do this. And we want it to be from the town tooltip. Perfect. Then we need to do something special here, and I don't recall how we do this next part. Oh, interesting. We have a thing for this? Oh, cool. I guess we could have done this. But we need to update the text, so I guess I wouldn't have helped too much. But there's something else. There's something that you need to do to hide or show this thing. Oh, where do you do that? Or maybe it's in the town tooltip? I don't remember. Show from source, that's it. So we need to say what the source is whenever we show this thing. Oh, but tooltip on parent should already do that. Show from source. Yes, perfect. Okay, cool. This is all working great. So now we just set the text whenever you increase your maximum number of money, which we need a signal for, but we don't have that yet. So there's update money label. I guess let's make a private void update maximum money, or maybe updated maximum money, long max money. Maximum money, max money. Increase this by defeating elite monsters. Nah, let's just say update maximum money. Yep. Okay, so update maximum money, town.max money. And then let's go get a signal inside the town. We have something about money being updated. Money changed. Yeah, we're going to say max money changed. And currently it can't change, but it can eventually. So let's do this. Where's money change? Here it is. Max money change, update max money. Do we say monsters or enemies in the other places? For elites, I'm saying enemy. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. My bad. Thank you. All right, so next up, we need to go see when we change money. Money change. Here it is, set money. We need a set max money. Private void set max money. Long amount. Should know what to do for this. Yeah, perfect. So we don't ever need to call this now, but let's make it so that you can call it now. So when you press the T key on the keyboard, we're going to set this to be, I don't know, just max money plus 100. I just want to make sure it's working. Yeah. So I hover over this and it's broken. Maybe because that was never called and there's no text inside of it. Although it should be. Maybe it's not. No, it should be this. Let's change this to just say testeroni. because I don't know why that would be blank. That definitely doesn't seem correct. Yeah, it's showing that text at least. All right, so that means that we're probably not calling this function. Let's put a breakpoint there, and let's delete this again, and let's run this. This should be getting called as soon as the game starts up. Yeah, it is. Maybe we're not setting, maybe it's not supposed to be .tooltip text. Although this does say it's blank right now. And after running this, it says, yeah, it's this. Maximum money, 150G. So why is it not showing up? All right, well, let's search for Fortitude tooltip. Yeah, it's just .text. What is tooltip text then? Oh, that's a built-in Godot thing. Oh my God. Yeah, when you hover over any control, there's a tooltip you can show. Okay. So I can delete this. We don't need that. There we go. Maximum money, 150G. Increase this by defeating elite enemies. And if I press the T key, this goes up. Now it says 250G. Nice. It doesn't update when I already have the tooltip showing. Why not? Yeah, why not set text? What do we do here? Set text. I think we need to override set text to change the tooltip of the parent. Yeah, we might as well do this. I know this is a really minor polish thing, and maybe it's not even super easy to do. Hey, Rima. And hey, Wayne's Brain. So I want to override this. Can we do that here somehow? Cannot override inherited member because not marked. Oh, darn it. Oh, that's too bad. So we need a set text function. It's not super worth doing this, to be honest. And even if I make a set text, like if I do something like this, it's going to immediately complain that this is confusing given that. Oh, wait, there is a what? There is a set text on this? I don't think so. I think that's just. No, wait, there is. Yeah. No definition found. Where does this exist? Rich text label? Inherits from control? No, it's right there. And it's public. I should be able to override this. Base.setText text. And then also call this. But this is only if this is the source of it. Can we check that out? Oh my God. What is this? Show from source. Source equals that. We have no way of fetching it. Ah, man, I gotta make this public. I have the world's longest comment here. Yeah, I would have to make this public if this is the source to update the text. Set text doesn't do that, does it? No. We could make a function that encapsulates it, like is something the source. But at that point, we might as well make this public. So let's go do that. Source public get private set. Then check it out over here. If tooltip where this content shows dot source equals this, then update the text. Cannot override inherited member because it is not marked virtual. Oh my God. Can't you just do new? I don't think this will work. Yeah, I don't think this will work because I don't think you can call the original anymore. I'm gonna try this, but I have no confidence. I always said double equals easy life in C# when I'm doing TS daily. I mean, really, you just use triple equals pretty much all the time in TypeScript. Should pretty much never be a a moment where you want to use double equals. Shouldn't work because changing dot text will call the base one, right? I'm not sure. Let's find out. If I press T, yeah, it doesn't look like it's working. Let me put a breakpoint here. No, it's not even getting hit. Yeah, this is just a brand new thing. Well, we could just call we could call this something else. So if I just call this wait. Yeah, no, it's not virtual. So it won't know to dispatch to this because we're calling it in the basing. Yeah. Yeah, the new set text won't be called. Yeah. Yeah, we need to explicitly call it rather than dot text equals. So we could have done new void and then in the town menu called that specifically set text. And I guess it would work. Hey Puka, don't you need an override keyword? It can't be overridden because it's not virtual. All right, now this is getting called and now presumably it's working fine. Yeah, now you can see it updating the tooltip as I press the key on my keyboard. I don't like this. I think this should be, instead of new, because I think this is just unclear mechanics here. I think what we should do is we should just name this something else, like set text and update tooltip, which is probably how we should always use this. So now this can just say text equals text. And this should be the only function we use. But yeah, I don't like this because it's gonna look like there are multiple ways of calling this function. This is a tooltip on parent. Oh, and we have no way of searching for all the .text references. Well, isn't that fun? Yeah, I don't think there's a way to do that. Yeah, I don't think we can. Okay, well, what we could do is search for every. Oh man, I don't think you can do a find reference on something that came from a Godot node over here. Like I might be able to do that. Sorry, but what I'd have to do is look through every single reference to all of these. Oh, there actually aren't as many as I thought. Oh, okay. I expect this to get called all the time, but I guess we don't have that many rich text labels. For Godot and Marker Virtual. Wonder if anyone else runs into this issue. Actually, all I want to search for is the reference of this. Go to references. All right, instance is a tooltip on parent. So same deal. Go back to this. End battle screen. This is a label. This is fine. So end battle screen is fine. Notification box is fine. Shopkeep is fine. This one is not fine. Okay. Skill tree. We have a tooltip here. Why is it? Oh, I see. Because you can have a different max level. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. We have what, like 2 left? That one's fine. This is not fine. Has to be the source. I can actually show it. Yeah, I think we're okay. What's the last one? Yeah. All right, let's try it out. Let's try it. How's your enterprise going in general? Oh, I broke something. You mean like how's the game dev been coming along? Because I'm happy to answer the question. I'm just curious if there's something specific you're talking about. That one in tooltip on parent may need to be moved 1 line down. Tooltip where this content shows. Yeah, you're right. In fact, that's why this thing was. I'm going to give you a point for the combination of everything you've been talking about so far. And the only reason I'm not giving you points more often is because now you're sort of officially working for Skeleseller. Just wondering how your self-employment is going, because I'm also going to be self-employed more or less soon. Oh, I see. Okay, well, I have a very unique situation here in that 2024 was the year to ignore money. So I think the total earnings for the whole year across all sources have probably been something in the range of about $5,000. And most of that's from Twitch. And now the amount of Twitch money per month is about 300 per month. On YouTube, I have earned almost my first $100. Amazon, I have earned 26 cents. What else? And maybe there were some course sales from years ago that are just going through now. I don't actually know. But yeah. So probably about 5,000. So I always kind of say this, but if you were to just go work a minimum wage job, I think where I live, it's the highest in the country. Highest minimum wage state. It says District of Columbia. Okay, well, I don't believe that. I don't think it's the highest minimum wage state I'm looking for. It's the highest minimum wage city in the US. Yeah, they're in Washington. Anyway, the minimum wage around here is like $20 an hour. And I've probably worked for the typical, what is it, like 2,000 hours per year. So, whoops, that would be $40,000. Yeah, so I can make like 8 times what I am making now by working at like a McDonald's or something. Like, it's obvious you've earned a bag of cash in your time. It's Sam ignoring money makes it sound like people are. Well, I have actually gotten some sponsor opportunities in the time that I've been streaming since December. I think maybe 3 to 5 companies reached out in that time. And it's not even like they were bad opportunities. It's just anything that takes more than an hour away from Skeleseller is just probably not worth doing right now. Hey, Chaos. The economy's bad. Well, just to be clear, I'm purposely ignoring money this year. If I were trying to make money, I would not be doing it through Twitch. Or I'd be accepting sponsor opportunities, and then I'd at least be making more money. Yeah. I've been ignoring money for the last 18 months, but I'm running out. It's getting harder to ignore. Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, it's just come up with what your timeline is. I think many of us at some point in our lives will have a time where you're ignoring money. Maybe retirement, maybe 2 months in between school and finding your first job. It's like there's some period of time, and usually it's pretty well defined. But yeah, typically it's not like your entire life. So yeah, things are going fine for right now. I'm not concerned at all. But in 2025, there'll be some focus on money, and I'm not sure how that'll manifest yet. Skeleseller will be part of it, and then maybe I'm gonna make a course again, and maybe we do sponsor stuff. I'm not sure, but I'm not worried about it right now. I'd rather be a car salesman and do programming on the side. Yeah. Yeah, right before this, I was working at Google for 3 years, and I just didn't like it. For anyone who's curious why I didn't like it, there is a YouTube video about that. So I'd like to not go back to the sort of traditional software development industry. Switch still the best way to support you if we have the means to do so, or do you have another preference? PayPal, PO Box, cash, or check? I would just say don't worry about it for right now. But it's kind of the only real way to support me, I guess. I guess you could spend money on YouTube, but I think that's worse than Twitch. I think YouTube takes a bigger cut. I don't remember. Anyway, don't worry about it. What about YouTube Shorts? Oh yeah, if I were trying to monetize and I wanted Twitch to be successful, I would need to pull in people from other platforms. That's one of the issues with Twitch in general, I'd say, at least software and game development. It's like there just aren't that many people in the category right now. So it's not like you're going to have some natural growth by people just sort of diffusing between streams. You'd really have to pull people in from elsewhere. And the people who've gotten more than like 500 average viewers in science and technology are typically on, well, YouTube. I mean, I think that's the most common route. Very traditional software development. Kind of liked it, serving a lot of people. Yeah, if you like it, by all means, that's this kind of thing like you should probably continue to just do the rest of your life. It's high job security, typically higher pay, and if the hours are good, then you don't need to worry about whether you can still do personal projects. How are you making money right now? Have you made enough from Google to have something to live from so far? It's none of my business. That's fine. Yeah, right now it's just kind of, well, one, my wife is working, and two, yeah, savings. I don't want to talk too much about our personal financial situation, mostly because my wife's not comfortable with it, and so I don't want to be more transparent than she is if she's not comfortable with it. But yeah, like I said, 2025, I'll shift focus again. And who knows, maybe Skeleseller does great and I'm just like, cool, we can live like it's 2024 for the rest of the time I stream. But I think the odds of it doing so great that that's the case are fleetingly slim. Just can't focus on some stuff I don't care about anymore for 8 hours a day. Yeah, I get you. I totally get you. I mean, if you watch the Google video that I did, it's something similar to that. Checking to make sure you're still getting some money when you support your own Twitch. Yeah. I was trying to make sure you hadn't started any other options yet. Yeah, no Patreon or anything. Feel like I already had a sub, baby. Welcome back, Wem. Thank you for the resub. Hope you're doing well. How have things been going lately? And hey, Akasai. Yeah, slim but never zero. Yeah, but I think it's reasonable to say, like, you know, imagine if you buy a lottery ticket or something like that. It's the same thing. It's slim but never zero, but it's so slim that it might as well be zero. I think it's the same thing with game dev. And just talking about the economics of it, Steam takes a 30% cut. So if you make $100,000 off your game, you really made $70,000 off of your game. And then think of what a traditional software job would have been. And think of how many games on Steam even make $100,000. I don't actually know the stats, but it's, I suspect the median amount of money from games on Steam, I expect that it's like $5. I bet it's incredibly low. It's like the median number of viewers on Twitch is probably 0 or maybe 1. So yeah, I think people just don't kind of consider that sort of thing. Yeah, then there's taxes, then there's paying other people. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, just got back from Greece. Yeah, when are we getting our hot tub programming streams? Well, I hope Greece was good. And the hot tub programming streams will start tomorrow. I've been away for a while. What happened to Google? Check this command out. Yeah. I saw the average stream viewer count is 0. Yeah. And that's just because there's such a volume of streams. And same thing, there's such a volume of games going on to Steam every day that I think most are not successful. That's also not how you'd measure this. I think the average game that goes on Steam also doesn't have like years of work from professional developers put in. It's probably people who did like a game jam game and thought, oh, I'm going to sell this now. Or I don't know, people who maybe didn't have the skills to do something like that. And then there are the runaway hits, the indie titles everyone's heard of. Yeah. Would you open up code contributions via PO box? That's the only way I'm open to them. I want you to snail mail me a punch card, and I put that into my mainframe computer. And if it doesn't compile, then I'm banning your address. The video needs more clickbait. I'm not concerned about like YouTube growth too much right now. I just kind of stopped making videos other than the Skeleseller vlogs. About 30 or 35% of developers on Steam make a living, but only because they make more than one game and they understand marketing. I am inclined to ask for a source for that stat because I don't believe that. Printed his code and brought it in. For an interview, I think it could potentially make sense. You don't know if they're going to have a way of looking at your code. You might be particularly proud of something you did. All right, color the money label red. So anytime your money changes, which is town menu's responsibility, and we only want this to maybe be red, maybe within like 10% of the max. So what would that be? 135 gold out of 150 gold is when we make it like slightly red. And then within 3% of the max, make it very red. Like rage red. Is 10% enough? Maybe 20%? Yeah, maybe 20% of the max. So that'd be 120 gold out of 150 gold. Yeah, I think that's like slightly red. Let me make it more and more red. Campbell Soup, thanks for subbing. Welcome, welcome. And thank you, Blue Monster. Yeah. Yeah. You'll definitely find me more on Twitch than when I was streaming or when I was working at Google. When I was at Google, I streamed maybe like 7 times in 3 years. And there were some restrictions on like what I could kind of say or do, and they weren't too intense, and I wasn't super worried about it. I wasn't planning on violating any of this stuff anyway. But yeah, it was very minimal. And now I'm streaming 3 times a week, aiming for 18 hours per week. Well, at least 18 hours per week. With the special paper and all the sounds it would make. People making a living on Steam or that are small devs or living in an area where cost of living is very low. It could be, yeah. One sec, I saw an interview with someone working in game marketing. I'll be back soon. Yeah, and Once Upon a Rhyme, sorry, I didn't mean to, well, you might already be off looking for videos, but I guess what I meant is not necessarily, I don't believe you. I believe that someone said this somewhere. I don't know if I believe them. And yeah, I didn't mean to send you on a wild goose chase. The volume of games right now is absurd. The problem is in the cost of games. The opportunity to play games can't keep up with the volume released. Yeah. Yeah, I think there are more games. It's sort of easy for some of them to just keep producing new content for it, or for that content that they have to be very long. And the cost of games is also pretty low. Remember not seeing you stream much, made me sad. Yeah. That was from 2020 to 2023. Yeah. This in particular, by the way, it's like, okay, Epic Games, I don't even know how long this has been for, but for the past many years, you've been able to get 1 to 2 free games per week. And these are games that cost like $10 to $20 typically. Sometimes they cost 50. And it's like my library on Epic Games, I have not spent a dime as far as I know. I probably have like 200 games. I'm not going to play probably any of them that I haven't already played at this point. But I imagine a lot of people are in this situation. Maybe not 200 games on Epic, but like think of your Steam library. How many of you have at least one game you haven't played? You've never played, and well, that you purchased, I guess. One game that you purchased but never played. And honestly, a lot of people are in this boat. I found the guy, but not the video. Chris Zukowski. He has a blog about marketing. Yeah, and I mean, I would only trust Steam to have released those numbers, not a marketing person, because the marketing person probably has some selection bias of they're dealing with people who care about marketing or who are willing to share stats, and those people are more likely to be successful, probably. At least one, you mean at least 100? Or redeem them so the devs get paid. Can't possibly play 10% of them. Yeah, and don't even want to play some of them. In fact, I don't even redeem the horror games anymore. I don't play horror games, so I'm like, there's no point even clicking the redeem button. Epic Games exclusive, Steam rules, yeah. Hey, Sinistel. If you count bundle games, I do have a ton of unplayed but purchased games. Proud to say it doesn't happen often. Yeah, and then there are some games that fall into the category, and this is totally fair, but some games that you buy and then you realize you don't like after the refund window, and then hardly ever play it. And like, okay, that happens. I mean, that happens with anything, right? You could buy food and realize you didn't like that food or it went bad or something like that. But yeah, anyway, games are super saturated, and the economics of it are just sort of borked at this point. And even AAA game companies are starting to struggle with some of that. Completed 26. Did you redeem the Mega Scans library? I don't know what that even is. All right, so we said within 20% of this, we want to color this red. So let's just make a private const float money warning color threshold. It's probably a stupid name. And why is this yellow? Just because it's unused? Yeah. All right, now whenever your money changes, so float percent from max. Yeah, and if percent from max, now let's just set the threshold to 0.8, so we don't need to do anything special here. So if it's greater than this, actually if it's less than this, set it to white. Otherwise, set it to some amount of red. New color. All right, how do we want to do this? So we wanted to get redder and redder over the course of that threshold. So we're going to do this. We're going to say float percent red equals. So 1 minus this. This is 20%. And we need to figure out how your percent from max is. Actually, I guess like this. Divided by 1 minus that. This is the same as just dividing. No, is it the same? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to do this, and then we're going to multiply this by 1, which should already be the case. Okay, and let me just make sure this is looking good. So if you're at 90%, this is going to be 0.1 divided by 0.2. So it'll be 50%, yeah. All right, so percent red and 1 comma 1. All right, let's try that out. And now let's go make a key on the keyboard you compress that's going to give you 1 money at a time. So we'll do set money. Actually, there's modify money. Modify money 1. Okay, let's try that out. Yeah, no. Yeah. Did I miss the pet snake hats already? Yeah, sorry. Just no one in chat really seemed to like it, so we removed it. But we have Fells with hat in chat now. So this is cyan. I don't even know how that happened. What? That must mean that I set this to 0. Oh, yeah, that's how. Oh, my God, right, because I'm doing this backwards. Yeah, it's not that I want to change the red amount. It's that I want to lower the other 2 amounts. Red is always 1. This is going to be percent non-red. Which now means this needs to change from this. Or 1 minus all of this. Statement should not use unnecessary parentheses. Sure. Right, let's try that out. Wait a second, what pet snake? It's a very long story, but it's an inside joke. And if it were worth explaining, I would explain it. Yeah. All right, so this is not working correctly. Also, we're set to 150 by default, I guess because I call grant most things here. Although I do want to set your money to 125. I don't even think you can do this. I think you need to call modify money. But let's try it out. So now I press T a bunch of times and it should eventually, yeah, it changes red and then gets less red. Yeah, so I just need to reverse that. That's all. Turns out I had it right the first time and I should not have done 1 minus. Excuse me. Day 10000101. Let's see, what is that? 5 plus 4, 8, 16, 30, 64. Yes, that's correct. Hard to do that. Hey, nice, cool. So yeah, money gets more red now as you get more of it. And then yeah, once you're at the max, maybe this should like wiggle or something when you try getting more money. I like your weird keyboard things. I shouldn't have set this to 125. I should have set this to 100 to begin with. In fact, you know what we should try is just let's have customers buy things and see what happens. It's when you get more money, not when you want more money. Yeah, I can imagine Thell's going to cash a paycheck. All right, so we're just going to let this happen here. We're going to make a bunch of workers. They're going to pick up some of these potions, and we're just going to watch the money amount up here. And when customers go and buy this stuff, we should see this become redder and redder. This is the realistic setting of you're actually getting money. Oh, it says max reached. That's not good. Nice. Yeah, nice. Maximum money reached. That's going through the throttler here. If not granted all money. So let's see, 150 minus 5. Or no, wait, 150 minus, let's say 100. 50, what? Why did it say? Why did it say you didn't have enough money? I was granted 5 gold. That doesn't make any sense. The unwanted undead adventurer. Plot. All right, let's read this. Rent is a 25-year-old who's been a bronze class adventurer for a decade. One day, while he's in the labyrinth of the moon's reflection, he finds an undiscovered path. Unfortunately for him, he comes across a dragon's lair and is devoured. Sometime later, Rent awakens as an undead skeleton. Soon begins a quest to achieve existential evolution so he can rejoin civilization. Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be humorous or anything, but I sort of wanted a humorous flair for this game. Yeah, so why is that happening? That is not good. So this is going to say false? Yeah, why? Max money is 150 minus money. So that's 49. Oh, this is set money. Oh my God. Not modify money. Whoops. I was treating this as a delta. All right, so what do we want to do here? We want to see if the amount to set is just greater than the max. If amount is greater than max money. All right, then we don't even need to do anything. I think it's worth running that. I agree. Yeah. I'm going to write that as a thing to do later, though. Add as task for later. Run the background and foreground through a contrast checker. Consider doing this on the money label that slowly gets redder. We could cap the redness of it. But yeah, so I'm going to just keep pressing. Oh, I forgot I had a breakpoint there. I'm going to keep pressing T on the keyboard until we exceed the maximum amount of money, getting redder and redder. And then as soon as we hit 150, now if I press T, it should spawn a notification. Good. All right, cool. So that one's done. And now make this go beyond the limit. I'm just not even going to do that. Let's delete that. All right, so this whole task is done. And we're going to check that in now. What did we do? We did a few things here. Yeah. All right, let's check in just the tooltip stuff. This is not tooltip stuff. This should be its own commit. What do we call this? Maybe this is easy to just do right now. Date border, throttler, and the instances manager. Yeah, let's go do that. This and the throttler. And that's the whole thing, right? Yeah. So add parameter to throttler. Yeah, that's good. All right, now the tooltip stuff. We're really working on like 3 different commits at once here. It's not this. It's not that. It's probably not anything there either. This we need to keep. Yep. Tooltip now has a public source. Tooltip on parent has this. Oh yeah, I should write what this does. This will not only set the text of the tooltip, but it will also update the existing tooltip if it's open from this source. Any other calls to that? I gotta be very careful about this. So I'm checking any debug code. No, none of this matters. Anything in here? No. No? And anything over here? Now this can just be reverted completely, right? Okay, so what do we do? Allow updating tooltip text. When a tooltip on parent has its text modified while the tooltip is open, the open tooltip will also have its text updated. All right. Hey, Muriel. I'm not streaming full time. I'm streaming 3 days a week. And for those 3 days a week, it's like regular full-time hours pretty much, or at least as much as I can do. I try to do 2 3-hour streams per stream day. So it works out to about 18 hours per week. In practice, it does end up usually being more than that. So like if you look at this day, for example, well, this is only 4 minutes longer. But yeah, day 65, there was like an extra 20 minutes or something. So sometimes I go upwards of like an hour more. Hey, 3D Extended. I think it's unintuitive that growing money gets more red. Isn't more money good equals green? Another thought, why not use alert between white and light red instead of constructing the color manually? The unintuitiveness is only that you now have a maximum that you can hit. And when you hit that, you can't go beyond it. I could see the thought process of like, well, I wouldn't expect it to be red. And I wonder if we should make the max like somewhat higher than that. I think the other concern here is that if you do leave this game idle for too long, the money limit is really going to affect you. But there's just not that much to buy yet in the game. Anyway, I'll see how this goes. A lot of times we just make changes and we think they're good and then we'll base it on feedback. The second thing though, why not use alert between the colors? Let me go take a look at where the color code was. Town menu. And yeah, we could do that. I don't see a major difference in this though. Do we have a colors.red. There's a blend. Turns a new color resulting from blending this color over another. There's probably, there's a lerp writing color. Yeah, I think it's a good idea to switch from that then. Okay, so what we got to do is we've got to figure out what we're setting this to. Color red lerp to another color. And we could say the percent non-red here. Now, I might have done this backwards. You don't need a contrast filter over the text, I'd guess. I think we'll still probably need it. Because this should be the same result, right? I'm not sure if I started at red or if I started at... Oh, nice. It's working. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a point for suggesting that. What's the goal or mechanic behind changing the color of your gold? It was just... Okay, so I guess we should start with one thing. Like, why is there a money limit? And then two is, why do we visually show that you're approaching that limit? And the why is there a money limit? I don't even know if this is what you're asking, but I don't want to enter the realm of what I call non-human numbers. So other idle games do things like, oh, you got 1e12 money or something like that. And it's like, what is this? You know, do most people understand trillion or quadrillion? Not really. And it's hard to figure out how much a cost might actually be. So the other way of doing this would have been to say like, okay, well, you're getting like 5 gold, 7 gold, you know, maybe 6 gold. And then you beat the boss and all of a sudden you're getting like 5,000 gold and 7,000 gold. And these are still understandable. I think people have a grasp of what thousands are or even millions sometimes. But yeah, beyond that, I think it's tough. And then, yeah, why do we visually show you're approaching the limit? Is because I think there needs to be some feedback that you're not getting the money anymore. There is a notification in the game. Red you chose isn't a light red because you lighten the target somehow. Yeah. We might as well just do that now. Light red. Wait, there's no light red. What? Dark red, Indian red, orange red, pale violet red. Kind of curious what that even is. All right, C# colors. Let's go look up the list. All right, what is light red in here? Light coral, that might work. And tomato. Let's try tomato. Color's not tomato. Funny to me. Yeah, anyway, unknown. I hope that answers a question. I'm not totally sure how this will all pan out. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing. I should really just start this at like 125. Honestly, I think that's still maybe a little too dark. Maybe light coral is better, but it's just really hard to tell. Or we could just make a custom color. Oh, weird. That didn't even get syntax highlighted. Huh. All right, let's start our money at... Let's start it at 120, so I don't need to press it 20 times. No, that's fine, 3D Standard. I think this is, like, if it's easy enough to do right now, I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. I think if I spend another 5 minutes on this, then I'll have wasted time. Honestly, I want it to be lighter even than that. And I don't, maybe light pink is what we want. Because I guess that's all that's really happening, right? Although that does probably look... Let's make a new color here. All right, so light coral was FF F0 80. So what if we did FF 80 80? Should be like this maybe? Maybe a little bit lighter than that. Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Looks good. I'm going to call it now. All right, so lots to check in. Added the money tooltip, added the starting max money, nothing modifies that, changed some costs of things. This is all fine so far. What is this? That is supposed to be in the last commit. Ugh. All right, what is this? Tooltip on parent. Tooltip on parent. Amend. All right, now back to this stuff. This is all fine, 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 not fine. Not fine. Fine, 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 not fine. Well, that's fine. Yeah, this is good. Good, cool, yeah. Everything's looking good except for this one file, which I think we've now fixed. I'll just take one more look through it. Yeah, looks good. All right, so what do we do here? We set a limit, add a money limit. There's no way to increase it right now. The game makes it known that there's a limit through 3 means. A tooltip on the money label, a change in color on the money label, and a notification when you've exceeded, or well, not when you've exceeded the max, when you lose money due to being at the limit. I'm very concerned about this. I'm just concerned someone's going to be playing idly and they're not going to know the money limit's a thing at first. Although I guess at first it's 150 gold. And the whole point of the at first part is that you're probably playing pretty actively at the beginning of the game. And then after that, we need to expand this by some amount. Hopefully by then you'll have learned there's a money limit. But yeah, I don't want you to just sort of trivialize the game. I said this before, but I don't consider this to be an idle game. I consider it to be a semi-active game. There's a lot that's going on in the background for you. But I want you to come back every once in a while and kind of manage some stuff. And I don't want that amount of time to be like once every 3 days. Does it tick up? Maybe an animation where you have a little money falling outside of the counter because it's overflowing. Yeah, those are some things I want to look at when it comes to polish time. For now, by the way, for anyone who's not aware of this, we're working toward checkpoint 4, which I think is going to be around November 15th. Maybe not. What is it today? It's the 23rd. So it gives us about a month. And the main things about checkpoint 4 are going to be that we've addressed the feedback from checkpoint 3 pretty much. Very early tutorializes the issue. Yeah, as long as you hit the limit. And I wonder how many players will hit it. This is a thing that if we had metrics in the game, I'd add a metric for. Went back and watch a VOD, makes sense. You're going to track the total gold earned still, or are you going to deal, how are you going to deal with overflow? You'll lose that gold, but as far as game stats go, it should track it. Where do we do this here? Town money, total money earned as above. Okay, I'm going to edit this. Edit from Adam. This should track even the money you earned while at the money limit. Or maybe that could be a separate stat. Basically, I don't want to just negate any earnings you got, even in the stats thing. All right, so back to this. Change how you unlock adventures. We should curate the choices. Yeah, right now, the way that this works, actually probably just easiest to show in the game. So let's go load up the game. And we're going to change this. Have all the extra gold go toward building a golden snake statue. Oh, that could be kind of interesting. I think it'd be a cool unlock at the final thing. Yeah, so right now the way that hiring adventurers works is that your very first choice. That's weird. Why does this only show rogue? Well, anyway, your very first, oh, I see, because something's broken. Null reference exception and set text and update tooltip. How fun. Let's go fix this. Add party member. This is in which class? Party section by class. Party section by class. Okay, we gotta go change this. Yeah. Kevin pointed this out in one spot, and I should have realized I'm doing this in every spot. Oh, tooltip, set an update text. Yep. Yep, cool. Okay, that should fix this. Let's go take a look. There's a solution for the anxiety I feel when I start a coding session. Only happens when I'm working on my own projects, not my actual job. I don't know why. Yeah, I think it would help to have more insight into what exactly the anxiety might be. Like, some things I could generally think of is like, I'm worried I'll make mistakes, or that I'm not doing things the right way. Maybe something like I'm daunted by the scope of the project. Maybe something like I'm not fully recharged after work and don't have the energy to do this. It could be anything. So it's hard to know, like these would all have probably different ways of addressing it. For example, if you're not feeling recharged after work, I would say you probably shouldn't work on your own project on weeknights, maybe, or work nights, I guess I should say. Maybe you work on the weekends. Whereas if you're daunted by the scope of the project, it'd be, pick a simpler project. So can you narrow it down at all? What did we just do? Oh yeah, I made it so that hopefully this dialogue is not busted. Okay, yeah. So here's how this currently works. You are always given a choice of 2 new adventurers. So the very first choice in the game, you're picking your first adventurer, so rogue or mage. Okay, fine. We'll pick the mage. Now the next choice you get, I have to start a battle, but then okay, now the next choice you get is 2 new adventurers. So we're going to pick the cleric. Now the archer is going to be left over for next time. So now we still have the archer there, but we also got 2 new choices. So that's how it used to work. The problem with this is we can't know which classes you're going to end up with because these are all randomized. So for example, here we have the archer, damage dealing class, a paladin, sort of a tank, and a witch doctor, like sort of a tank, sort of damage dealer. But there's no healers here, or no dedicated healers. So it's like if you needed a healer at this point in the game, we can't guarantee you would have been offered one. And we could do something where we offer them based on roles at different points. So maybe we're like, okay, there's a tank versus a damage dealer, and then there's a damage dealer versus a DPS, and then there's so on and so forth. But I think the way we're going to change it is just your first choice is always going to be rogue versus mage. Your second choice is always going to be whatever, archer versus paladin or something like that. And so on and so forth. That way we can know that at this point in the game, you can only have these 4 adventurers, maybe all 4 if you want to get them all. But we know that you can't be lacking the archer and no ability to even get them. Because we're going to start making bosses. And if you can't beat the boss because of random choices shafting you, then that'd be problematic. I'm going to do something I haven't done before and have no idea about it. This might be a 2. Energy after work is low, but at the same time, I feel like I should work more on myself. I think it's tough to just sort of create energy out of nowhere. And if you are not feeling like you've recharged after work, I think just the way I've kind of done this before is I've had to-do lists that I separate into mindful tasks and mindless tasks. So for example, a mindless task may be something like recolor a sprite. That's generally pretty easy. Or maybe like resize a sprite. It's like there's no thought that goes into this. It's something easy to do. And mindful tasks may be something like code a new system. So that might help a little bit. I think alternatively, it's like, do you have good work-life balance? Is there a way that you can work on that? Or it's just like save it for the weekend. As far as the not knowing how to do stuff, I think this is, in general, the problem I've struggled with in the past is when I start working on my personal project while I've had a separate full-time job, it's like I want to do the fun stuff. But projects are not all fun stuff. If they were, that would be great. But if you think of any game that you might make, maybe you find like 70% of it fun. At some point, you're going to come up to that 30%. And it's not like you work for 70% of the time and it's all fun and then it's all unfun tasks. They're interspersed. So maybe you're making a new system and everything's fine, and then you make another new system and everything's fine, and then you're like, oh, I have to go refactor an old system, and maybe you don't find this fun. And that's what makes it like, now I'm feeling anxiety. I don't know how to do this. I don't want to do this. And that's just part of development. I don't think there's a way around this unless you have a team of people and you can delegate it to the team, the unfun tasks. I have a certain person working on unfun tasks for Skeleseller. My whole life is just a bunch of mindless tasks. If I try this and don't do a good job, it'll mean I'm not capable, and therefore I'd rather avoid it and not know. Well, okay, that comes down to the final part of this, which I guess is mindset, which is unless you're working on something that takes like a day, you're going to have ups and downs on the project. And it's just making sure that the valleys that you hit are not, debilitating. So I think recognize that you're making progress, recognize that you're learning, and just, I don't know, look at this over a large enough amount of time. I did a video that was sort of similar. That's not the video. That's the video. I was learning Colmac and just how I went about learning it and my process. I think this might resonate with you, Mr. XQ. I suggest watching this because the end, my conclusion was that learning is equal to time plus practice. And that learning, if you don't look at things this way, then you won't look at it as, well, I put in some time and I put in some practice, so I must be learning stuff. You'll look at it as like, I'm not already at this point that I want to be at. And even just reframing how you think about stuff can, I think, really put a dent in that demotivation you're feeling. Side improvements? What do you mean? Make my own projects and map out the project like I would any project, identifying risks, technologies, then tackling all the work breakdown is a lot easier because I have focused micro tasks. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy as an individual to ever feel overwhelmed. And for me, one of the things that works is just tackle something. Like you have a list of 100 tasks. Maybe you're not tackling the highest priority one, but a list of 99 tasks is slightly less daunting. And at least it makes you feel like you're making progress. If you have deadlines, then tackling the wrong task out of 100 can be a problem because maybe you're prioritizing something that, 1% of your users will ever see. But as a personal project, it could be pretty helpful to do that. In fact, I found myself in that situation even just yesterday and the day before. I mentioned that my parents were visiting for a week. And in that time, my to-do list grew quite a lot because I wasn't taking any time actually working on any of those tasks. So the last 2 days, I was just like, oh my God, there's a million things. Like, when am I gonna do this stuff? But I sat down and I just started tackling it. And before I knew it, the list got a lot shorter. Okay, so this is no longer happening. We got to check this in. Fix bug with tooltips. I was updating the text before setting the tooltip. Do you think we'll ever get to less than 50 issues? Maybe. I just manage it with a to-do within VS Code every day. I sit with my coffee and treat my to-do list like my own personal product backlog. Yeah. What I started doing, I've got a daily list. So something like Monday, and it'll say whatever, like workout, take care of cat litter, whatever tasks need to get done for that day. And I split it up this way. And then I also end up having a backlog with all the tasks that need to get done at some point, like whatever, sell my old monitor or something like that. It's like, that doesn't need to get done today. And then someday I'll bump this onto one of the days that I have. There's one other thing I wanted to mention on this front. I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is hopefully the last thing I'll say on the topic, but the productivity tip. I've read a lot of self-help books about productivity, and I think the biggest, most helpful tip is you can't do everything. That's it. It's just drop a whole bunch of stuff that you'll never really do. Because otherwise, that's the other problem that people have, is they come up with lots of tasks where they're like, yeah, this would be nice to do, and that would be nice to do. And it's like, if you're just realistically not going to do it, don't burden yourself by thinking you're going to do it. And it works with some things, of course. It's like, okay, sell my old monitor. It's like, maybe selling it is too tedious and I should just donate it, let's say. And yeah, I made that decision sometimes where I'm just like, it's easier to do this, so let's just do this. It may not be the best route. You go back in time, would you do boot camps or still recommend getting a college degree? If I personally could go back in time, I think I'd still go the college degree route, but I don't think that should dictate what other people do. I don't think you need a college degree for coding. And I think that boot camps probably work pretty well for some people. So I always think about it in terms of how self-motivated are people and what kind of structure do you need? And then what are your goals after the education? So if you want to become, let's say, a front-end dev for web development, like a boot camp is pretty much a perfect fit for that. Do you need the structure of a boot camp? Can you afford the boot camp? Then yeah, sure, go for a boot camp. If you're super self-motivated, I don't think you need any sort of formal education. So yeah, I would probably still go the college route because I think I would have needed that structure. Maybe not now at this time in my life, but when I was college age. Both those are actually very common anxieties. Not sure if this will make you feel better, but you should know that you have. Why is this thing showing up over here? Oh, there we go. Nothing to worry about. First thing could be attributed to you erroneously thinking that your mindset is fixed. Yeah. Yeah. Now, my boss, thanks for subbing. Let me know if that's how you pronounce your name. It feels like an additional mentoring session. Yeah, I guess to some extent. I think chat has been slightly chattier today, which I'm fine with. Might as well engage. Stop reading productivity books and do things step by step and split bigger tasks to micro ones. I think the productivity books are still worth reading because I wouldn't have ever gotten to that conclusion of like, I'm doing too much unless I had read them. And I think the book that really solidified that for me was, what was it called? 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. Is that what it was called? Yeah. Yeah, this book was great. It's really just a philosophy book, but it's sort of bundled as a productivity book. And yeah, the biggest thing is you must cut things out. You live a finite life, and yet there's probably an infinite amount of things you could be doing, or close enough to infinite, right? I guess you can't really do infinite things, but yeah, you could be learning 10 different things right now. You could be playing an instrument. You could be making a game. So how do you decide? And when you do decide, how do you slice away the other tasks? Yeah. Boot camps often look to me somewhat scammy. Yeah, I can't comment on all of them, and I haven't been through one myself, but I have met people who've gone through boot camps, and sometimes they have the skills. So I guess boot camps can sometimes work. All right, so we have finished that stuff. Yeah, it's 11:09 right now. I haven't taken any breaks. I guess I probably won't take a break, but I guess I should plan for like 30 minutes of work and then maybe do lunch or just take a break. But yeah, the adventurer choice. So we wanted to lock this into specific choices at any given time. So where does this happen right now? I think the Guildmaster tracks this. Classes offered. Here it is. This whole system's going to change, isn't it? This gives you next classes to offer. And it's based on beating bosses. And we don't know which bosses you've beaten yet. Your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. Yeah, I really like that. Next classes to offer are always going to be, I guess, based on which ones were offered. No, wait, no, it's not based on that. What am I talking about? It's based on how many bosses you've beaten. And it's only based on that. Yeah, so at some point we need to keep track of how many unique bosses you've beaten. I guess the town could do that. Although it's the same as knowing which instances you've beaten, which I think is already in the save file. Let's load up the save file. Does it have something about instances beaten? Unlocked instance IDs. Yeah, I guess you know which ones you beat. No, you can't know which ones you beat from this because you don't know if you've ever beaten the last one. Maybe track it at the adventurer level in case you introduce some sort of this adventure has been used in 100 boss kills and has a shiny skin. Well, I guess we're already saving the max adventurer level. We could just treat that as how many bosses you've beaten. Yeah, we could do that. Thanks, Thels with hat. Nice having you here. You know, there was some old Thels in chat who just wasn't very helpful or anything. So it's nice to see that people are cycling in and out of chat. All right, well, for the guild master to know this means we need to be able to get this from the town. I think we save this here. Yeah, we do. Okay, so what else? Those classes were offered. So we need to know which ones, were these ones that you got already? Classes, passed up classes. What? Classes offered are ones you unlocked, right? Oh, here it is. Hired ones. Just get rid of the hired ones. Okay, got it. Yeah. So let's initialize. Oh, we already have the town here. Well, well, well. It's all coming together. All right. So I want to go make a thing here somewhere. I'm going to say public static read only. What is it going to be? It's going to be an adventurer class array. It's going to be an array of these. Yeah, adventurer choices. Can we do that? Does that work? I know half of these don't exist, so let's just delete those, but yeah, that'll work. All right, so Rogue and Mage, I do not care about what we're actually allowing you to choose from. Not yet, at least. So Warrior and Cleric, sure. Let's put an Archer and Witch Doctor. And there's a 7th class. What is it, the Paladin? Paladin, and I guess the Cleric stands alone. Yeah, sure. Ah, you got me. I'm Theld. That's why I have such a thick Scottish accent. Excuse me. All right, higher adventure dialogue. This is going to be based on your town, your max adventurer level. So int max, or like num bosses defeated equals town dot max adventurer level -1. No, -2. And then new classes to offer. It's really just classes to offer, I guess, not even new classes to offer. So for int I equals 0, I is less than this. We're gonna concat. Concat returns a new one, right? Yeah. So classes. Actually, yes, read only list. All right, so equals this concatenated with game constants dot adventure choices I. And now what? Name game constants doesn't exist. Remove this useless assignment to local variable. I guess because we're overwriting it down below. But we're going to delete all this anyway. All right, classes offered union with. I don't even care about this, I think. I think all we want to know is what are the new ones that we're going to do? Passed up classes. Yeah. It's a hash set, which I don't like. I want this to maintain the order. Yeah, I don't like this. Should be a list. So we can just return the list like that. Get rid of that, get rid of that. And do an accept hired classes to list. Use of unassigned local variable. This has to be assigned to, but it doesn't know that it was assigned to. And I guess we need to make it a list to begin with. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Change return type to a list for improved performance. I don't think it likes it when you do that. Huh, okay. All right, next up, change this to a list. Read only list. And anywhere else we call this, there shouldn't be. No, there's not. I think this should just work. This is new classes to offer. Yeah. All right, how do we test this? We need to, oh man, we need to do a bunch of stuff. We need to not give you an adventurer right off the bat, but we do need to give you a ton of money. How do we not give you an adventurer? Skip tutorial. Hire random adventurer. Wander around town. I guess just cut that out. But then they're giving you a bunch of money bit. Let's go set the max money to be... Actually, let's just make the cost of an adventurer be nothing. Hire adventurer. Where's the cost? I don't know. Oh no, it's in the dialogue. It's not here. Yeah, let's just give you infinite money. Isn't there a starting money or something? Starting money. Yes, this is gonna be 9999999. All right, let's check it out. This really would not have been that hard if that's all we needed to do. So we hire. Oh, we can't set our money to that much. We need the max money to also be really, really high. I thought we could bypass this by just setting it early enough, but I guess not. Cool. So we have a ton of money, and now we go over to here and hire an adventurer. It should always be the rogue versus the mage. We don't have an adventurer already, so I'm gonna pick the mage, and that should give us the rogue and then the next two. Yeah, I need to send them into battle, blah, blah, blah. The instance is really tiny there for some reason. It's just giving me the rogue. Oh, right, because we haven't leveled up past the max amount. So we got to go make that happen. Where do we do that? I toggle skill tree. Okay, we're going to say adventurer max adventurer level. Do we ever modify this somewhere else? No, we don't. We'll just do ++ there. Tripping all the gold falls down the drain. It takes like an hour for it to all fall down the drain, but your character's just watching. Like, what was it, Italian Spider-Man or something? If anyone knows what I'm talking about. I don't think it was actually Spider-Man. What happens when you search for Italian Spider-Man? Oh no, it was Italian Spider-Man. Yeah. This is your character watching the gold fall down the drain. We just show that GIF for like an hour. All right, so we're gonna pick the mage. Then I'm gonna press T, and the max level should have gone up to 3. Yes. So now when I go to hire, now we're offered the rogue, archer, and witch doctor. I'm gonna pick the rogue. I'm gonna press T again, and now it's gonna offer me archer, witch doctor, warrior, paladin. Archer, witch doctor, warrior, paladin. Yeah, good. And the order is maintained as well. So then we pick the warrior, we press T, we should be offered the cleric now. Good. And the only thing I haven't tested is, I guess we have all the characters. The only thing I haven't tested is what happens if you don't pick anything and somehow increase your max rank. So I'm going to press T a bunch of times and now click this and go to higher. And it broke. Is it because I pressed it too many times? Yes, index was out of the bounds of the array. Yeah, that's only a problem because we don't have all the adventurers in the game yet. So this should be int. What do we even call this? Max index in adventurer choices equals math.min this dot length -1. Perfect. And max index, also perfect. All right, let's try that out. Adding bosses to the game, yeah. Well, actually, at this point, I feel like we've already added the boss stuff, and now we're just doing all the stuff around adding bosses to the game, like allowing you to pick different adventurers. Yeah, nice. So now whatever we pick just shouldn't show up anymore. So I'm gonna pick the archer, click hire again. God, stupid. Have to win a battle. All right, the archer's gone. Pick the witch doctor. Witch doctor's gone. Yeah, what happens when we hire them all? I think we already had that covered from before. Yeah. Cool. Cool. And that's it. We can then delete all this other stuff that we have here. So classes offered, just what isn't used anymore. Initialize it with a classes offered from the guild master. Yeah, I don't think that matters. Is lore invented or discovered? It's all discovered by chat. This is offered, classes offered. Yeah, we just literally do not use this. All right, let's delete it all. Goodbye. We don't need it in a init. We don't need any of this garbage. Actually, what is this garbage? Yeah, I don't need this. Passed up classes, union with the passed up classes. Yeah, we don't need that either. At any time that you're offered to hire an adventurer, you're offered 2 new choices and all the old ones that you didn't pick. Maybe there's not even need for a class you passed up. Yeah, not anymore. Just delete this comment. Do you give better stats to your favorite adventurer? No. I think that in pretty much all RPGs that you have a set of classes that you might like them for play style, looks, class fantasy, or function, I guess. Maybe there's another reason or set of reasons. But generally in RPGs, I tend to like spellcasters and ranged characters. But in this game, for whatever reason, I really like how the rogue operates. So I think I do kind of base it more on function than anything else, or maybe playstyle. But I don't think I'm going to make the rogue more powerful. Just fall in a stealth archer every time. Did Starfield have a stealth archer class? The moon archer? They shoot moons at their enemies? Pretty much. All right. Yeah, I never really cared too much about stealth in games. Even, well, I guess I don't really play stealth games, but I was going to say there are a lot of games that have a stealth element, and even those I find kind of frustrating. Like, there are at least a couple Zelda games, no, at least 3, probably more than that have some stealth section in them. And Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, and now Echoes of Wisdom. And they're just, I don't find it very fun. Do we have anything else I need to fix here? I guess we can do a .NET format. What's my words per minute? I think I technically have a words per minute command, but I think the thing you'd potentially want to see is the Colmac stats. I don't generally like to boil down words per minute to just one stat because I feel like there's a lot of caveats around it. Like, how did you measure it? And is it representative of your coding? Are you able to sustain that rate? So I know I just sort of didn't answer your question. Short answer is I don't know. All right, this is looking good. This is good. Good. Yeah, this was all pretty straightforward. None of this stuff should be checked in. Is Colmac weird if you're switching to laptop keyboards often? It's not too bad, except for typing R's for some reason. So R on Colmac is my left ring finger. And in QWERTY, it's, what, your left pointer finger? Is that right? Yeah. I just, for whatever reason, this is the one letter that if I'm going to mess up, I mess up R. But in general, it's not too bad. I just went to the library yesterday and brought my laptop, and it was pretty much fine. All right, so change how. Wait, why did lightning zaps change? Oh, this is a linting issue. Okay, fine. Fix linting issue. What is it? Remove an unused import? What even changed in this file? Yeah, remove unused import. All right, change how adventurer classes are offered. It used to be that you would randomly get 2 new choices every time you were presented with new choices, and the game would remember what those choices were. Now the 2 choices are are the same across every game. That way we can know for sure which potential adventurers you can get. Oh, you know what I should probably do? I Oh, darn it. I need to change. Why is this not checking in? First, let me figure out why I can't click this button. What is going on? Oh, whoa, that was weird. It's probably going to pop up that dialogue a bunch of times, isn't it? Yes, it is. Because I did click the button a bunch of times. And now let's click it one more time. Good. And good. Yeah, so what do we do about adventurer costs? So you're offered adventurers like this. A versus B, C versus D, E versus F, and so on. So should any given tier, e.g. A and B, cost the same amount? Should your Xth adventurer cost the same amount? Is there even a problem with doing this? I feel like I just want to do it this way. Like your adventurer costs are just an array, and it costs whatever, 5, 15, 50, 100, 500, so on and so forth. And if you happen to get A and then C and then E, then it means you'd have spent 50 gold on choice E. Whereas another player who happens to get A, B, C, D, E is going to spend whatever, like 500 on E. I think that's fine. I guess the other way of doing this is that each individual adventurer has a specific cost. Individual adventurer could have a specific cost. Super slow, but I can type for hours without stopping. You'd be surprised that if you wanted to improve it, how quickly you probably could improve it. I think for a lot of people, it's just learning how to type properly. And one thing that could force you how to learn how to type properly is learning a new keyboard layout. I find the concept behind them difficult, and especially don't understand why you bring a laptop. The library for me is just a different environment that is relatively quiet. That's all. So if I were to be at home on a day that I'm not streaming and you were like, hey, go file 14 different issues on Skeleseller, that would be very tough to do. Like I have this giant to-do list that I'm hoping to churn through and turn into issues on GitHub. And I just haven't done that. And that's like good library kind of task. Yeah. You ever done the English 5K test? My speed drops by like 20 to 40%. Is it just random words? Because I think I've tried that. I find, I mentioned this in the video, but like if you type the word want in English, chances are the next word's probably going to be to. It's not always, but still there are certain words that are almost always followed by some other word, or like go, what's going to follow that? Probably to, or go do, or something like that. It's not going to be like go coffee. But the way that those 5K words thing works is that you do find sentences like go coffee, shoe aardvark, whatever. And I don't think that's how you ever really type something. I think you do end up building these sort of bigrams and trigrams, and you build them into your muscle memory so that then you start typing, and when you do come across some like foreign construct of a sentence that you can't type it as quickly. Import pandas, yeah. I frequently type import pandas. 5,000 most common, which is a lot. Yeah. Although 5,000 most common words, I wonder if you listed your own top 100 words, how much they'd overlap with everyone's top 100 words. Maybe the top 100 might, because you'd have words like to and the and it's pretty hard to avoid using those words in English. But yeah, for like top 500, you're going to start getting different words, and maybe someone says apple more than they say like house or something. What was I doing? So rebalance the cost to unlock and train adventures. This is a balance task. Oh no, it's technically not. Oh right. Oh darn it. I was just talking about this and then I never actually came to a conclusion. But I think the conclusion that I wanted to come to is that you just have a price for each adventure unlock, and if you get them in a different order, that's totally fine. As long as at any given point you can unlock all of the ones that have been presented to you, then I think we're okay. So new adventure cost, the first one being 20, I think is fine. Then the next tier, you can now earn beyond 150. And maybe you got a rare item from the boss that gave you 100 gold or something like that. But I guess you'd have to farm the existing dungeons. Maybe make this like 100. Just deleted one. And then maybe the max amount of money goes up to like 500, in which case maybe the next one should cost 300 or something. I'm just going to make them sort of follow this pattern for now. 500, 700, and 900. Yeah. Public private void. Static. I was learning to type. I found the best way to get faster was when trying to chat, also in between rounds in video games. Yeah. My theory is that the way that you learn how to type quickly is by making mistakes for every set of bigram and trigram that's common enough in the language you're typing in. And when you finally type a word that you've never typed, like surprise is kind of uncommon for the bigrams that appear here. Like you have RPR in this word, and that's not very common to type. But like, so you need to type the word surprise a bunch and just make mistakes on it and eventually realize what you type it as and kind of embed it in your muscle memory. First most used word is 2x more in the second, and so on and so forth. Really? I don't know what word frequency actually is. I know some of the letter frequencies in English, but longest word you can type with the left hand on a QWERTY keyboard, yeah. Unless you type stewardess is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the longest. But there are no numbers higher than 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so new adventure costs, I think we're pretty good. Whenever we do balance the game, though, we got to keep this in mind that you should always be able to afford all of the adventurers in a given tier. Remember, you should always be able to afford all of the adventurers in a given tier. This means that the cost should be less than, I guess I'll write it even in the code tag, max money. Otherwise, we can't guarantee that you could get those adventurers before fighting the boss. Yeah, and we would have balanced around this. I think that's all we got to do at this point. Like, we're done, right? Yeah, this. And then rebalance the cost to unlock and train adventurers. Oh, train. I did not do the training part. Oh, yeah, whoops. Let's go write that down. Just copy paste this down to here. Should always be able to afford all of the ranks. All ranks. Afford to rank up all adventurers to max before a boss. This isn't even a problem right now because there's no change in the cost between adventurers. It's static for each adventurer. So second level costs 100, then 500,000, etc. Yeah, these numbers are way too high, but the general idea is there. And I think that's all we care about. So I think we can mark this as done. No, just delete this. Not really a thing for here. And then drag this down to the bottom and check it in. So all we did is change some of the costs a little bit. Change adventurer hire change adventure cost. These aren't like formally balanced numbers. Yeah. Find a mathematical formula that does that for you. We we don't have that many different bosses in the game. I'm thinking there are going to be 7 bosses, and I want to see what the game feels like at any given point. Because yeah, one way is to come up with formulas for everything, but you're probably going to want some tweaks to those formulas. For example, let's say you had something like f of x equals x squared. And so 1 is 1 and 2 is actually I could type all this out programmatically, and so on and so forth. You might find out that, oh wait, actually, you know what? This one should be a little bit lower. Let's lower this to 3. And now there's too big of a gap over here. So, oh, let's change the formula. We'll do like this minus x, and now you change all this stuff. Like those manual tweaks, I think if you have a small enough data set, should probably just be typed out manually. So for example, we have 7 levels in the game that your adventurers can be. So we should probably just write out what their power levels are, like 5 and then 12 and then 22. And if we're like, you know what, that one's too high, we just lower it by 1 and we don't have to change a formula. But yeah, if we had 100 levels in the game, then I think you'd probably want formulas for that stuff. How would you go about creating an item architecture like the one from Diablo 2 or PoE? Where would you start? I think someone asked me about this before. And the way I said is I'd probably just have a list of mods on your items and then some sort of caching for the computed mod values when you equip or unequip an item. And a mod might be something like lifesteal 5%, or a mod might be like plus 20 damage or something. And you could have a ton of different mods, and the mods would need some way of hooking into the stat system. Maybe you have these stats already and they're just increasing it. Maybe they're adding some property or an ability to your character. On a massive game, they do that too, manually decreasing the multiplier of a boss. So what I assume on a massive game is that you would have formulas. You'd have a bunch of checks around these formulas. So for example, like if I'm level 30 and the boss is level 32, how many hits does it take to kill them? And if it's like greater than 5,000, you might like raise an error right there statically before you even release the game. And then you also probably have some manual tweaks. So you might have something like there's a boss and their base formula is like, you know, tanky boss formula. And then your manual tweaks are like, take the result, minus 10% life, plus 10% power, or something like that. Because if you picture a game like World of Warcraft, there's no way you could test every single character, every build, every enemy, every like dungeon that exists. So you do want some sort of understanding of what the general power level of everything's going to be. And at the same time, you also might have a dungeon where it's like, well, our formula doesn't work for this. We don't want to make a custom formula. Let's just, you know, tweak everything down by 10%. Hey, Caleb. Just another purple name tuning in. You're right. There's no similarity between your name and Coding with Carlos. None whatsoever. The nice thing, Miniki, about any of this stuff is that you can always come up with whatever works for your game. Like you could make a massive game that only has 2 enemies in it somehow. And then, yeah, just hard code the enemy values and you're good to go. And maybe you've got 10,000 enemies and you just want a formula for every single thing. Gather data on how long fights were running against different levels and character classes. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the other input into all of this is how did this all perform once you did it? And unfortunately, balance is a very tough problem, even for like medium-sized games. And it's something that you pretty much can't change without bothering some section of your player base. It's practically impossible to do that. So you might make something more balanced, you know, theoretically, and people are upset. You might make something less balanced and people are happier, but still there's going to be someone at sort of the short end of the stick who's probably going to be upset. Hard-coded values of variables. I'm not saying, I might have phrased that poorly. I don't necessarily mean you should have some like ability in the game, fireball, and it just says like damage equals 10 for it and just always, it's literally hard-coded. I mean that it's static. it's set somewhere, it's manifested properly, but then it doesn't change for each character, let's say. Okay, so when beating a boss, we got to do a bunch of things. I think I'm going to hold off on this until after lunch. Level up bosses every time you beat them. This might be a little challenging. Need to keep track of how many times you've beaten the bosses. The portal function finds the next instance. Yeah, this has been going pretty well. When did we start working on bosses? Design how bosses should work. That was on, was that Friday? Yeah, Friday. And then we only did half a day. Stopped after half a day because I was tired. All right, so today is all just going to be Skeleseller. Continued working on bosses. So the afternoon is going to be these few tasks. I think it's doable. Work on rare loot next isn't even a task. It's just a guideline for what I should probably do after this. In fact, I guess we can write that here. And the rare loot, I've got some ideas, but I don't want to do a whole lot with that anyway. But yeah, it's been a little over 3 hours. I think it's a good stopping time, especially because I haven't taken a break and I really need to pee. So I'm gonna go get lunch. I hope you all had a good time hanging out. Here are the various discords, but actually I guess the most important thing to share is, hey Ella, the most important thing to share is this. If you want to wishlist the game, I think we're up to 192 wish lists or something. It doesn't cost anything to do this, and it does help out. And also, if you're interested in the game, I mean, this is how you would track it, or follow the stream, one of the two. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back in about an hour, and then we'll be streaming for another 3 hours or so. See you later. Bye, everybody.